Hey everybody, hope you are doing well. It's been a little while since I posted a video on this channel, but that's kind of the whole point of Chef Brian's Sao Raw. It's the channel where I really get to talk about and do whatever I want and not have to be stuck to a specific schedule. A lot to update you guys on. Let's see, where do I start? Well, I guess I'll start with the fact that I've been a little quiet lately overall as far as my social media goes, as far as my YouTube community posts and shorts, stuff like that. That was very intentional. You guys already know I'm not going to repeat everything verbatim, but the last two videos on this channel I put out, I let you guys know about a lot of the ups and downs that have been going on in my life. Fortunately and unfortunately, a lot of good, a lot of bad things in there. But these past couple months in particular have been very, very, even more stressful than usual. And I really needed to take a step back and just focus. I'm not going to say like focus on myself, but because I have been focused on myself this entire time, but to just take a little break and to not drive myself crazy with pressure and responsibility that I don't necessarily need to have there, right? So the shorts, the YouTube community posts, again, I have so much on my plate. While these things are great for my channel and obviously engagement with you guys is great as well, I just needed to take a step back. So I haven't really been in the Discord server. I occasionally pop in on Patreon, but other than making sure I fulfill the essential benefits that you guys have signed up for the patrons that are watching right now, I really haven't been going above and beyond like as much as I would like to and as much as I was, back a few months ago because of all this crazy stuff that's, happened these past few months. If you want to know more about that, if you're new to the channel, please like, subscribe, but also check out those videos so you guys are kind of up to speed. I just completed my little tour with my band Lost Becomes. We played about 10 days, 10 days, really had a lot of fun. It was great to meet some of you out there while I was on the road. And then before that, I went on a little family vacation with my wife and my daughter, which was very much needed. We went to Cancun. I've never been before. Went to one of those all-inclusive resorts, and I got to tell you, I'm a fan now. Man, was that convenient going to an all-inclusive, and I will go back in a heartbeat. So anyway, that's a little bit of the background of why I've been a little quiet lately. I've been traveling. I went on vacation. I also needed to just kind of take a little step back for my mental health and decompress a little bit while maintaining the essentials. Now, the title of this video, Mission Sandwich Socials going out of business. Well, it's it's hard to say this out loud, but it's on the verge of it, unfortunately, for someone as experienced as myself, for the amount of blood, sweat, and tears, the pure passion I put into this project. It really sucks to be at this moment, but also it kind of doesn't feel great to talk about it publicly, but I do believe that it's very important to talk about the dark side of being a business owner. How things may not work out despite how talented, how knowledgeable, and how hard you work. Sometimes it's not in the card for you. Now, I will say, we are on the verge of it, but not all hope isn't lost yet. I already saw sales drop a lot. It was very noticeable after tax day, mid-April. And that combined with travel being back to pre-pandemic levels, it just, the shop took a pretty hard hit. And then this all happened at the same time while all this craziness happened with the sous chef who left overnight and this and that. And having to re-up on some bulk purchases of materials that, dug into the bank account and such. And again, it sucks talking about this, but it's just very important to me to be to be transparent, especially for any of you out there that are considering to open up your own small business. You take 100% of the risk, you get 100% of the reward. But there's also 100% of the risk, right? Now, as mentioned, I saw business dipping, and I knew that I had to do something about it. And there's no silver bullet in life, unfortunately, unless you win the lottery, I guess. But even then, that comes with its own troubles, But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about business, my business. A lot of the things I'm about to talk about can be applied to any of you out there who are thinking about starting a business. And anyway, I saw sales dropping. I knew I had to do something, so I started putting a lot of things in motion, whether it was offering a new product to create some renewed interest in the shop, as well as partnerships with other brands, other opportunities to increase sales. And I'll get into the details a little bit shortly, but all these things take time to develop, and all these things take time to see the data from it, right? I look at my P&Ls, and I look at all the numbers and review it, and I know, okay, this is working, that isn't working, okay. And also, you can't do too much at the same time because you also don't want to stretch yourself thin. But that's something that I tend to have an issue with, is going too hard and too fast and overloading myself. But regardless, I enacted a lot of things, and I'm very glad to say that there are definitely signs that I'm going to see some fruit from this. I'm gonna all this work that I put in is going to bear some fruit. So what are some of the things I did to try and recover business, to try and help improve business and stop us from going out of business? Well, the first thing was, back 5-6 months ago, it was all about cost cutting, right? It was all about controlling our margins, getting the labor rate right, getting our food cost in the right position, which we did based on X amount of business that we get every week. I backtrack, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, take averages, look at my numbers and see, okay, based on the average sales over the last 3 months, I should be spending about this much on food cost, on labor, things like that. Okay, I have fixed costs. These cannot change. So, all right, nothing much I can really do there. So let me find savings in the variable costs. And again, the variable costs are your labor, your food costs. Those are the two main ones for the restaurant business. And that was my focus for a long time. Well, business dropped again. So all those numbers go out of whack. And this time, and there's not really much more I can do as far as cost cutting goes. So now it has to be, how do I find ways to increase sales? So number one thing I did was offer a new product, which is small size sandwiches. So now Mission Sandwich Social offers both large and small size sandwiches, so that a person doesn't have, even though we have sandwiches pre-small sizes that were in the $15 range, we are perceived as an expensive place. We give you value for your money. One sandwich is basically 2 meals, but even though there's the value there, people will still consider you expensive because they have to commit $20 to $30 to get one of these sandwiches. Again, they're massive as far as pure weight and the quantity of product. If I took those same ingredients and plated it nicely, you would gladly pay that amount of money. In fact, you may even say it was cheap, but because it gets put into 2 slices of bread, it can be perceived as expensive because people have a connotation. Is that the right word? They have an attached value to what a sandwich should be, and that is $12, $11, $5. I don't know, but generally I feel like when you say sandwich and then 20 and up, it's automatically very expensive, right? So we offered small size sandwiches, which allows the customer to commit less money when they come into our shop, so they don't have to get the full shebang. Also, it could be that they don't want to commit to that quantity of food, right? Now, my theory of going with these large sandwiches is, okay, I don't have dine-in space, I don't offer appetizers, I don't have alcohol, I don't serve alcohol, so I need to make sure I'm getting X amount of dollars per customer so that I can cover my bills, right? And it worked for quite some time, but after the shine and luster has faded, after we first opened, then you start to settle into what your true clientele is going to be, and it just showed that the sales weren't there, so we have to do something to entice customers to come back. And I'm very glad to say that the small size sandwiches are a hit, but because they are smaller, we also take in less money per order, right? So if a sandwich was $20 for a full size, but the small sandwich is now $12. So what's good about this is my food cost comes down because I'm charging slightly more for the smaller size sandwich. So you're getting less quantity of food, but you're actually paying a little bit more, but you're okay with that because you're okay with parting with $10 to $13, $14 for this size sandwich, and you don't feel like you're over committing. And also the quantity of food is more reasonable, so to speak, right? So what I'm glad to say that we switched over to this, and while the initial switch over, we did see a drop in gross sales, that is actually stabilized to what it was prior to offering small size sandwiches, which unfortunately is still not enough to cover our overhead. So this is where I try to find other ways to increase sales. So we signed up with Cater Cow. So now Mission Sandwich is on Cater Cow, and within a day or two of going live on Cater Cow, which is a company that gets you large catering orders, right? Anywhere from 30 people to 200 people. So 2 days after we go live, we get an order for 200 sandwiches, which is fucking fantastic. So now we have these big, we've only been live with them for 2 weeks now, so it's yet to be seen. Again, I don't have enough data to know for sure yet. Like a month needs to pass before I can really have an idea of what's really going on. But anyway, by having these large parties to cater for, now we are knocking down our overhead, so we're not as reliant on the walk-in customers or delivery app customers. Simply put, we're adding, we're increasing our sales, and these two things have definitely been very helpful. And it's still very fresh, so I don't have the data, but again, there are some really good signs. We started doing a pop-up at Brooklyn Brewery. I'm not sure if I'm going to fully commit to this, but we did one this past Thursday. We're doing another one next week, and I'll kind of make my judgment call after that. But did okay, for the amount we walked away with for our first pop-up. I wasn't upset. Let me put it that way. Not great, but I wasn't upset. And it was great to work with an iconic Brooklyn brand as well. And it was a great vibe overall. So if anything, I had a good time and walked away with a little change. And again, that little change adds to the gross sales and helps us knock down our overhead to be able to pay our bills. So I'm very glad to say, after a few months of dropping sales, and we finally, this week, it's shaping up to be that we're going to be profitable again. Now, that's just 1 week. Again, I need to see what happens after a month, and that will give me a much more accurate idea of where we're going. And the more data I have, the better. Now, why am I telling you all this? Well, I had a video called Anxiety and Depression. I had a video talking about how I've dealt with that most of my life. And then I have a video called I'm Giving Up. I'm giving up on the negativity. I'm focusing on trying to go towards the positive energy. I also, clearly state that you can't help but feel a certain way sometimes when you run into a certain situation. So if something happens to you to make you feel sad, you can't stop that, but you can control how you react. I'm telling you guys all this stuff because I've been burnt out for a long time. I am mentally and physically completely spent and exhausted. But I don't give up. And I keep fucking fighting because you look at all the great businessmen, athletes, anyone who's made a difference in this life, they all suffered for it. They all suffered for it. 100% of the risk, you get 100% of the reward. And if you can't take it, get the fuck out. I genuinely believe that. And I'm going to fight until the bitter end. And that's literally what this tattoo means is, you know, fight to the bitter end, to the death, essentially. You know, a couple weeks ago, before I started to see the signs of these new things I implemented at the shop, so show some positive signs, I think a lot of you out there would have told me, Brian, you're crazy. You should pack it up. You know, that's it. It's over. And you may be right. Maybe I should pack it up. Maybe I should go back to Tao Group and get that corporate chef job again and have that steady paycheck and kind of steady hours. But I really do feel that if I can get through this and if I can make the changes that get us through this, I can, you know, look back and laugh. I can look back and say, man, am I glad I didn't give up. I don't know. The future's yet to be written. I could tell you 2-3 weeks from now. Shit, actually, no. Sorry, guys. None of that worked. Yeah, we are, in fact, closing shop. I don't know. But I'm willing to accept those consequences and take that risk to really try and make this work because I truly do believe I offer a great product. I truly do believe in myself, even though sometimes it's really hard to, you know. I have a lot of self-doubt now. I'm not sure, you know, I say to myself, you know, am I meant to be a fucking loser? This is the second time. This would be if this goes down, this would be the second time I have a failing restaurant, you know. Then I start feeling imposter syndrome. I'm, you know, doing these videos, talking to you guys, reacting, giving my professional point of view, and I can't even maintain a restaurant, you know. It's tough, but it's not over yet. Battle is not over yet, and I'm going to keep fighting. And those little signs of improvement are enough for me. It's enough. And I hope it's enough for you too. I hope this inspires you to keep battling on. And, you know, again, I told you, I took a step back. I took a little break so that I can muster up the little bits of energy to just keep going. I had to prioritize. As much as I want to engage more with you guys, I had to prioritize what's really important. But also, I'm not going to stop either. So, hope you got something out of this. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you so much, everyone, for your support. I really, really do appreciate that. I say that in every video. I say that on Patreon and in the Discord all the time. I probably am going to still be a little quiet for a little while longer, but you know, rest assured, I'll still put out at least a video a month on this channel. You'll still see a new episode of Pro Chef Reacts every week on the main channel. And I'm going to leave you with this. I'm actually going to be moving studios soon to a much bigger space. A really cool opportunity came up, and I'm really excited for some stuff in the future. Anyway, thanks for watching all the way till now. I know I said a lot. I know I rambled a lot. But again, I hope this provides some inspiration for you guys out there. And with that said, I'm Chef Brian Tsao, not your typical chef, and I'll see you really soon.